Yo, what's going on guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, we have part 2 of the Power League guide. So we've got the game modes, Gem Grab, Brawl, and Bounty. So if you missed out on part 1, I'll put a link in the description for that. But yeah, we're going through all the best compositions to use, all the best bans, and whatever else you need. So before we jump into today's video, make sure you're using the creator code in the shop. That'd be greatly appreciated. And without further ado, let's jump into the video. Alright guys, so jumping into the first game mode, we have a Bounty. Start off with the map Dry Season. So the Dry Season meta really hasn't shifted it too much since we last talked about it. To be honest, the only real changes are the likes of Daryl and Buzz. They're both really strong on this map, but as you can see on the screen, so Grom is still going to be the best brawler for this map. The second best pick is going to be Leon, so depending if you have a high power Leon or whether you don't want to just face off against it, you can ban it or pick to choose that as a first pick yourself. There's other good options as well. Sharpshooter's going to be really good on this map. Throwers are going to be really strong, but normally I would tend to pick the throwers towards the end stage because they still can get countered pretty hard by the likes of those aggro brawlers like Buzz, Daryl, and Mortis can all be really strong against those throwers. You've got other good options as well. Jean can be really strong, especially if you get that mid star first. It's just really essential just to constantly play passive on this map, especially if you've got the lead. It's really easy just to sit behind those walls and let the enemies come to you, and that's why Belle is especially strong on this map because of her traps. You've also got brawlers like Ruffs because of his sandbags and just his ability to give power-ups to your teammates. He can be really strong on this map because it's super defensive. And then the likes of Nanny and Stu as well, they can be good depending on what brawlers you're facing against. Alright guys, so now moving on to Layer Cake. So same again with Dry Season. I feel like Leon is going to be the best second pick. So of course, if you don't have that first pick, got to be banning that Grom and then hoping that you probably get a Leon as your first pick. Or again, if you don't want to face off against him or don't have a high enough power Leon, then look to ban it because it's so strong. So next best picks as well, so the likes of Belle, Bar, and Piper are going to be really strong. Of course, you only really want one of those brawlers as a mid brawler, so obviously depending on which one you prefer. I prefer the likes of Belle just because she's good against everything, can be really good against other sharpshooters and good against aggro as well. Bar going to be paired well with pretty much everything. Piper, you got to be a little bit careful because normally I would only pick a Piper if it's like a last pick, because again she can get countered a little bit too much above those aggros. The likes of Tick and Sprout can be good as a last pick again. So Tick and Sprout used to be so strong before Gears, but I just feel like again, like Tick still gets countered a little bit too much by the aggressiveness. If there's like multiple aggro brawlers, I just feel like he gets overwhelmed too much, especially if you have like a Piper as well in the comp. You can really get overwhelmed by the likes of Buzz, Mortis, and Daryl and Rosa. So I've actually put Daryl on the list, but of course he's going to be one of the strongest. I forgot to put him on the graphic. And then also Jing, he's going to be really strong, especially if you're near the latter stages and you're facing off against those aggro brawlers. He's going to be that mid brawler that's going to be the best against those aggros, so he's definitely a good pick. Rico's a good underrated lane pick. He can be good against several things, especially considering the fact that he can easily lock down a lane, and with his gadget as well, he's able to heal up really quickly. And then again, all the aggro brawlers are going to be so strong on Layer Cake. Alright guys, so lastly for Bounty, we have Shooting Star. So the meta has switched up a little bit since last time. I still feel like Nanny is probably the second best pick, but still I feel like you can outplay a Nanny, especially if you go a really aggressive comp, especially with the likes of a Leon, Max, Jean, etc, can be really strong against those long range brawlers, but can be really hard to pull off, especially if you're not that skilled with Max. But as you can see on the screen, he's going to be the best pick. So I still feel like Grom is going to be the best pick on Shooting Star, especially considering if he's played down the middle, he can easily shoot across either lane as well as using his gadget to scout those bushes. He's just so strong. I'll put Nanny as that second best pick because obviously really strong with our head. And then the likes of the other long range brawlers, you have Belle, Bar, and Piper, just the same old. They're all equally as good. Piper's probably going to be the next best because of her gadget. She can do really well, especially if you get one shot on an enemy. Most of the time you can just finish up with that gadget. Next up we have Leon. So Leon's actually really strong on Shooting Star. A good Leon can easily just completely dominate on this map, especially if you're constantly cycling those supers. He can just be so annoying for the enemies to deal with. Jean can just be really good at scouting, especially if you get the lead early on. He's just really good at just constantly scouting the bushes, and then once you get that pull, you can confirm a kill quite easily. Then the likes of Tick and Sprout in the middle. Again, I don't really like picking these brothers towards the beginning, only because they can get overwhelmed by aggressive combinations. And then as you can see at the end of the graphic, you have Max, Pam, and Mortis. All can be really strong in the right hands. Alright guys, so now moving into Brawl, we have a Backyard Bowl. So Backyard Bowl, a really passive map. Really don't like this map in Power League because sometimes it can just last forever, especially with the draws. But anyways, so you can see on the screen, Grom's still going to be that best pick, and Spike's probably going to be the second best pick on this map. He's so strong, especially with the gadget. He can easily just lock down multiple lanes. So again, the likes of Bell, Byron, easily going to be some of the best brawlers in Power League. They're just so hard to actually counter and just good against pretty much everything. So that's why they're going to be some of the strongest brawlers to pick. Stu going to be really strong on this map, especially when you use his speed gadget. So this can be really good for your mid brawler. I see a lot of time, especially when I'm spectating scrims in Asia, that they just tend to pick Stu and then like Byron or Bell, and it's just insane. They're so strong. It's so hard to actually counter a mid when they've got that speed turret for them. And then again, for the likes of the lane brawlers, you've got the likes of Crow, Meg, Leon, all going to be super strong. The likes of Jean and Piper can be pretty strong. I don't really like to pick Piper unless it's towards the end because she can get overwhelmed by those aggressive brawlers like Leon and Meg and Crow and other brawlers as well. If you're feeling a little bit fruity, you can use the likes of Daryl and Fang. They're good tank alternatives. Alright guys, so next up we have Sneaky Fields. So a really fast-paced map. So basically a lot of these brawlers are going to be really strong with their speed gear. So this is what you're going to be looking towards with this map. So as you can see, I still feel like Grom is probably the best pick. If not, it's going to be Rosa. Grom can sometimes get overwhelmed a little bit too much by the aggressive brawlers, but I still just feel like he's a really good mid, and his gadget is just going to be really essential for scanning the lanes. Rosa's going to be that next best pick because of her slow gadget and also just her speed gear. Speed gear with Rosa is absolutely broken, especially on Sneaky Fields. And next up, again, brawlers that just thrive with that speed gear. So we've got the likes of Tara, Ems, Sandy, all amazing with that speed gear on a grassy map. They're just so good down the lane. Daryl going to be insane because on Brawl he can easily just pass the ball up, roll, and with his steel hoop star power, he can tank a lot and easily score. So other good mids, you got the likes of B, Jean, and Bell, and Gale as an off-meta pick because of his slow star power. It can really help, especially down the lanes. And with his pushback, it can easily push back aggro brawlers, so they can't get into his face. And then the likes of Crow as well. I think Crow's a really good off-meta pick with its slows. He's actually used a lot in Power League on Sneaky Fields just because of his scouting capabilities and his slow gadget. And then Rico can be really strong down the lane. There are a few other alternatives as well. Quite a lot of aggro brawlers can be strong on this map. Alright guys, and lastly for Brawl, we have Sunny Soccer. So unfortunately didn't have any gameplay for Sunny Soccer. I've been trying for a few days to get gameplay of it on Power League, but just couldn't quite get it. So just going to have to see some other Brawl gameplay. But anyways, Sunny Soccer going to be a really good map for those aggressive brawlers, but also just for the generic Brawl brawlers. So I've put Daryl as the second best pick. He can be so strong, especially if you get the ball in a good position. It's just really hard for enemies to actually do anything when he has that steel hoop star power. He just tanks so much damage. Next up, the next best picks, the same old for Brawl. We've got the likes of Tara, Ems, and Sandy. They're just going to be really insane lane picks. Spike as well going to be super strong. Stu's going to be really good on this map, especially if you use the wall break gadget. You can easily confirm a few kills if you get the right opportunity. Jean going to be a really strong mid brawler. And then I've got a few other picks as well. We've got the likes of Rico. Rico can be pretty strong towards the latter stages of the picks. You've got Ash. Ash is actually a really underrated brawler on those grassy maps. He's going to be so strong with his speed gear. He can counter the likes of the normal generic lane brawlers, the likes of Tara, the likes of Sandy. He can do pretty decent against. And then as well, I've got the likes of Barley as a last pick. So Barley can be really good, especially if you're up against certain brawlers. You know, for example, like a Spike, you can be really strong against him. Alright guys, so moving into the final game mode, we have Gem Grab. So starting off with Gem Forts. So as you can see on the screen, the best picks, shock, it's going to be Grom. And then next up we have Leon. So Leon is insane in Power League right now. He's just so strong with the gadget, being able to just constantly sneak around in the grass and constantly cycle his super. He's just so good on this map. Again, the likes of Bell and Byron going to be really insane mid brawlers. Likes of Crow can be really good at scouting the bushes on this map, and when again we've got that speed gear in the middle and down the lanes, it's just so insane. So that Crow being able to scout and use his slow gadget, just really good for getting that control. Next up you have the likes of Stu, Daryl, and Fang. They can be really strong aggro choices, and then the likes of Jean as well in the middle can be really strong. Meg, of course, going to be a really OP brawler, especially once you get that Meg before the nerf. Probably would be one of the best brawlers on this map, but she's a little bit slow to get that mech sometimes, so that's why she's on the latter stages, in my opinion. And then the likes of Spike, Tara, Pam, and Amber. So all of these brawlers can be decent off meta picks. Tara always good on Gem 4. And then the likes of Pam can be one of those good last brawler picks, especially if there's a lot of aggro on the enemy team. Alright guys, so moving on to the next map, we have Hard Rock Mine. So as you can see on the screen, Grom's still going to be the best pick, and then Rico's easily going to be the next best pick. So just depending on what you want to ban, Rico just easily going to be that best choice. And then next up, the same old with the middles, you have a Belle and Byron, both going to be as good as each other in that mid, just depending on which one you prefer. And then other good options as well. Aggro is going to be absolutely insane on this map, so that's why I've got the likes of Leon, Daryl, Rosa, Stu, Ash. There's just so many good aggro options on this map. It's just going to be so hard for the enemy to really do anything once you push into the bush, and with that speed gear as well, you're just going to get collapsed on pretty easily as that mid brawler. So that's why I didn't really put Piper towards the beginning. I feel like Piper has fallen off a little bit in Hard Rock Mine meta just because of those aggro options. I'd rather have like a Jean or a Byron or something that's a little bit better against aggro, even like a Pam for example. If the enemy team is running like multiple aggros, you need to make sure that you've got a mid that's capable to counter that. So that's normally why I pick the mid brawlers towards the latter stages on Gem Grab anyway. So then again, you've got the likes of Tara, Sandy, always going to be good on Hard Rock Mine, and then Fang is actually really insane on Gem Grab right now if in the right hands. Okay guys, then finally for Gem Grab we have Minecart Madness. So as you see on the screen, Grom's still going to be the best option. He's just so toxic on this map, being able to throw over the minecart, and again it's just so easy for him to get those supers off, especially considering there's only really like 3 choke points on this map. And then next up you got the same Byron, Belle. They're going to be insane on Minecart Madness, so definitely don't let the enemy get both of those brawlers, because together they're just absolutely insane. And then the next best lanes are going to be the likes of Spike and Crow. Spike's just going to be so good with his cactus on this map, easily going to be able to block off lanes with his super, and that combined with the minecart can just lead to so much control, and it'll be really hard for the enemy to actually push a Spike on this map. Crow can be really insane with his slows and just his jump overall on Minecart Madness. It's just a really strong brawler. And then the likes of Daryl and Stu. Stu can be really strong with his gadget, the one that gives you extra speed. That's going to enable your mid just to be able to pop off more in the middle. You see a lot of teams using that gadget on this map. The likes of Fang is just so good on Minecart Madness. I'm seeing so many people in NA using Fang because of how strong he is, being able to cycle his supers. It's just hard for the gem character to really do anything against a good Fang. And then the likes of Meg as well. Once Meg gets her mech on Minecart Madness, it can be so hard for the enemy team to actually pinch that Meg out, because you've got like 7k HP standing behind a wall, and then her swipe as well. Again, it's just going to be so hard to take her down when she's pushed up that far. The likes of Gene and Piper are going to be really strong towards the latter stages. And then you've got the likes of Buzz, Tara and Pam for those a little bit of off meta picks. Alright guys, that's going to be it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed this one. Next week I'm probably planning on doing an even more in detail guide, so let me know whether you want to see that one. But this took a lot of effort and a lot of time, so I really appreciate you guys' support on this one, and let me know whether you want me to continue to do these type of guides. I'll happily do so. So yeah, that's going to be it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.